Till now, we discussed the concept of standard deviation and we learned how to find the standard deviation for different types of data given. So today we will discuss some properties of standard deviation and we will try to prove them. So the first property that we will discuss is that the standard deviation from two values x1 and x2 of a variable x is equal to the half of their difference. So first of all, we have a variable x which has two values or two observations x1 and x2. So let the variable x has two values x1 and x2. Now we already know the variance is the square of standard deviation. So the formula for variance is given by summation x minus x bar whole square divided by n. So the if we need to find the standard deviation from the variance, we just need to put an under root sign here. So now see, according to the formula, it is equal to summation x minus x bar whole square divided by n, where x bar is the average of the two observations x1 and x2. So if we elaborate this, it will be equal to, the summation will be equal to here the summation will be equal to x1 minus x bar whole square plus x2 minus x bar whole square, since x1 and x2 are the two observations, and n will be 2 because we only have two observations x1 and x2. Now as we discussed, x bar is the average of the two observations x1 and x2. So x bar will be equal to x1 plus x2 divided by 2. That is the simple form of taking the average or the mean. Now what we do is we put the value of this x bar in this formula. So what we have, sigma square or the variance is equal to half into x1 minus x1 plus x2 divided by 2 from here whole square plus x2 minus x1 plus x2 divided by 2 again from here. We have just put the values, we have just replaced this x bar by this in these two places and we got this, simple, nothing else. So again now we take the LCM of this, we get 2x1 minus x1 plus x2 divided by 2, that will be equal to x1 minus x2 divided by 2 here whole square plus here again it will be 2x2 minus x1 plus 2, that x1 plus x2 that is equal to x2 minus x1 divided by 2 whole square. So nothing complicated done here, we just simplified this and this. Now if we take out 2 from here, since it is 1 by 2 square, it will be 1 by 4 square, that we write here 1 by 2 into 1 by 4 into x1 minus x2 whole square from here simply. Again we take this 2 out, we'll get 1 by 4, but here what we have done, x2 minus x1 whole square we have written as x1 minus x2 whole square, which is the same thing. We took minus, we took minus common here, so it became x1 minus x2, and since it is a whole square here, the minus that we took common will get cancelled because of this whole square and we get the same value for x1 minus x2 as well. It is same like taking the square of plus 2 and the square of minus 2, it is 4 itself, it is the same. So 4 minus 2 or 4 minus 2 whole square or 2 minus 4 whole square will anyway be 4, the value will remain the same because the minus the square of minus 2 and plus 2, the square of plus 2 will be at last the same. So since now this and this are same, we can add it, these two together will get 2 by 4 into x minus x2 whole square So 2 by 4 is equal to 1 by 2. 1 by 2 into 1 by 2 will become 1 by 4 into x1 minus x2 whole square. Now this value is for the variance or sigma square. Now we find the standard deviation or sigma from this. So we therefore sigma or standard deviation is the under root of variance. So we take the under root of the variance we found earlier, that is under root 1 by 4 into x1 minus x2 whole square. Under root of 1 by 4 becomes 1 by 2 and under root of x1 minus x2 whole square becomes x1 minus x2. So now what is this? This is the standard deviation and this is the mean of the difference. This is the half of the difference of the two variables as given in the property. It is the half is equal to half their difference. So this is the difference, x1 minus x2 is the difference, and divided by 2 means it is the half of the difference. So it is proved that the standard deviation is half the difference between the two variables. Now the second property is something that we have used again and again in our past discussions. It says that proves that the standard deviation is independent of change of origin but is dependent on the change of scale. We have discussed it again and again since the past few days, and we have been using this property to find the standard deviation of certain large values in the past. So let us suppose there are n observations x1, x2, x3 dot 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 up to xn for a variable x, and let the origin be changed to a and let the scale to d. That is, what do we mean by changing the origin? We subtract something from x or we add something to x. And what do we mean by changing the scale? We divide whatever we have by some value or we multiply it by some value, let's say d. So when we change the scale and origin, let's say we have a new variable y1 that is equal to xi minus a. Here we have changed the scale, divided by d. Here we have changed the here we have changed the origin, and divided by d we have changed the scale. We cross multiply it and take a to the other side, and we simplify it in terms of xi. So we take this side, d this side, and we take this a this side. It becomes xi is equal to a plus dy1 yi into d becomes dyi minus a goes here, it becomes plus a, so it becomes a plus dyi. Now by the property of arithmetic mean, if we take the mean of this, it will become x bar, it will become a plus dy bar. So if we take a mean of this expression will also become a plus dy bar. Again, this property we have used in finding the average while changing the origin and scale in the previous chapter where we find the arithmetic mean. When the numbers were large, we change the mean we change the origin and scale, and we use this formula to find the mean. So now we find xi minus x bar. So xi we have been given here and x bar we found out here. So we put the values. Xi is equal to a plus dyi minus x bar is equal to a plus dy bar. We simplify it, we open the brackets, plus a minus a gets cancelled, becomes 0, and we are left with dyi plus minus becomes minus dy bar. So it becomes dyi minus dy bar. We take d common, it becomes d into yi minus y bar. So xi minus x bar will be equal to d into yi minus y bar. Now we find the variance of x. Sigma square x is equal to summation. The formula is summation xi minus x bar whole square divided by n. So now we put the value of xi minus x bar from here, which is d into yi minus y bar. Since d is a constant, it comes out of the summation and we get d into summation yi minus y bar. Everything inside, everything will be squared divided by n. So square of d will be d square, and summation yi minus y bar divided by n square we know is the formula for standard variance of y1. So it will be equal to d square into summation y whole sigma y whole square or d square into standard variance of y. I repeat, this will be equal to d square into sigma y square, which is equal to, which is also d square into variance square. Now sigma x or standard deviation we know is the under root of variance. So this will be under root. This is the variance of x. Under root of this will be equal to under root d square into sigma y square, which will be equal to d into sigma y, which is equal to d into standard deviation of y. So when we change the scale and origin of x and we found a new variable y, the standard deviation of y is equal to the standard deviation of x, but we have to multiply sigma y by the scale by which we have changed the scale to which we have changed the value of x, that is d. So the change in origin, that is a, is not reflected here. So the sigma x is the standard deviation of x will be equal to d into standard deviation of y. So this proves that the standard deviation is independent of change of scale but is not independent of change of origin. So we'll do this much for today, and here we'll also end the chapter for measures of dispersion. Thank you.